Introduction to Matthew 23, 24, 25. The final 3 chapters of Jesus' public ministry in Matthew form a single, connected message. Although they are often studied separately, they were spoken in one continuous movement, addressing one continuous theme: Israel's relationship to her king. Matthew 23 reveals Israel's rejection of the king. Matthew 24 describes Israel's future during the tribulation after the church has been removed. Matthew 25 presents the parables and judgments that accompany the king's return and the establishment of his kingdom. Understanding these chapters together brings clarity to passages that are frequently misunderstood. Many readers apply Matthew 24 and Matthew 25 to the church, the rapture, or Christian life today. But Jesus is speaking within Israel's prophetic program, using covenant language, temple imagery, and kingdom expectations that belong to the nation of Israel. The church, the body of Christ, had not yet been revealed. That mystery would be made known later through the Apostle Paul. Matthew 23 closes the door on Israel's acceptance of the king at his first coming. Matthew 24 opens the door to Israel's future during the 70th week of Daniel. Matthew 25 shows the conditions of readiness, stewardship, and judgment that accompany the king's return to reign. When these chapters are read as one unified discourse, the storyline becomes clear: rejection, tribulation, and kingdom. This introduction prepares the reader to follow that flow. The goal is simple: to let these chapters speak in their original order, within their original context, so that the message Jesus delivered on the Mount of Olives can be understood without confusion or mixture. What follows is the unfolding of that message: the king's lament, the world's shaking, and the dawn of his kingdom. Part 1. The Lament of the King, Matthew 23. The temple courts echo with the sound of confrontation. Jesus stands before the scribes and Pharisees, his voice steady, his heart breaking. He exposes their hypocrisy, the heavy burdens they lay on others but refuse to lift themselves. Each woe falls like thunder, not of anger but of divine sorrow. The king is pronouncing judgment on the stewards of Israel's covenant. The chapter closes with a cry that pierces history: "Jerusalem, Jerusalem, how often would I have gathered your children?" The lament is not rejection of love. It is love rejected. The house, the temple, is declared desolate. The king turns away, leaving the sanctuary that once bore his glory. The disciples follow him out, unaware that prophecy is shifting before their eyes. Part 2. The Question on the Mount, Matthew 24 verses 1-3. On the Mount of Olives, the disciples gaze back at the temple's grandeur. They ask the question that opens the next 2 chapters: when shall these things be? Jesus answers not as a rabbi giving theory, but as the prophet king unveiling the future. The church is not yet revealed. He speaks within Israel's prophetic frame. The rapture lies outside this discourse. It belongs to the mystery later revealed through Paul. What follows is the timeline of Israel's tribulation and the second coming. Part 3. The Beginning of Sorrows, Matthew 24 verses 4-14. False messiahs rise. Wars and rumors of wars shake the nations. Famines, pestilences, earthquakes, the earth groans under prophetic pressure. These are the birth pains, not the end itself. Israel will face persecution, betrayal, and deception. The gospel of the kingdom will be preached as a witness before the end comes. The church is gone, the remnant remains. The world moves toward the midpoint of Daniel's 70th week. The stage is set for the abomination that makes desolate. Part 4. The Great Tribulation, Matthew 24 verses 15-31. The Antichrist stands in the holy place. The warning is urgent: let them which be in Judea flee to the mountains. This is Israel's darkest hour, the time of Jacob's trouble. Cosmic signs fill the heavens. The sun darkens, the moon withdraws its light. Then the sign of the Son of Man appears. The King returns in glory, not for the church but for his covenant people. Angels gather the elect from the 4 winds, the regathering of Israel. The tribulation closes with the visible second coming. The kingdom dawns. Part 5. The 10 Virgins, Matthew 25 verses 1-13. The parable opens in the night of waiting. 10 virgins stand with lamps, 5 wise, 5 foolish. The bridegroom delays, the oil divides them. This is Israel's readiness test, not the church's rapture call. The wise represent the believing remnant, the foolish, the unbelieving nation. The midnight cry comes, the king appears. The door closes. Readiness becomes the measure of entrance into the kingdom. Part 6, The Talents and the Throne, Matthew 25 verses 14 to 46. The parable of the talents follows, stewardship under the king's authority. Faithfulness is rewarded, negligence judged. Then the scene expands to the throne of glory. The nations gather before the returning king. The sheep and goats' judgment unfolds, based on how they treated his brethren, Israel. The righteous enter the kingdom, the wicked depart into everlasting punishment. The prophetic arc completes: rejection, tribulation, judgment, kingdom. The king reigns. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more biblical clarity. And tap the bell so you never miss a new episode.